Welcome to Fond Emotion. Ever wondered why it's so easy to get mad but so hard to forgive? It's a question that has puzzled humans for centuries, and one that we're going to delve into today. Anger, a raw and powerful emotion, seems to surge up within us in an instant, often leaving us feeling overwhelmed and out of control. On the other hand, forgiveness, a virtue often hailed as the path to inner peace and contentment, is a mountain that many of us find hard to climb. There's a fascinating paradox at play here. Why do we humans, innately social creatures, find it so easy to fall into the trap of anger, yet struggle to embrace the healing power of forgiveness? Is it our survival instincts at play, or is it something deeper, rooted in our complex psychology? These are the intriguing questions we're going to explore. So, buckle up and prepare to uncover the captivating psychology behind anger and forgiveness. What happens in our minds when we get mad? Let's unravel this mystery. When anger strikes, it's not just an emotional turmoil, it's a physiological storm too. The brain, our body's command center, takes the lead in this dance of reactions. So what exactly transpires in our gray matter when we're seeing red? First, the amygdala, the brain's emotional processing hub, senses a threat. It could be a physical danger, a verbal insult, or even a perceived slight. Regardless of the trigger, the amygdala reacts swiftly, sending a distress signal to the rest of the brain. This distress signal prompts the hypothalamus to spring into action. Known as the brain's command center, the hypothalamus triggers the release of adrenaline, preparing the body for the fight or flight response. This is why when you're angry, you may feel your heart pounding, your breathing becoming rapid, or your muscles tensing up. It's the body preparing to confront the threat or escape from it. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and impulse control, is also active, but in a different way. It's trying to put the brakes on the anger, attempting to regulate the emotional response. However, when the anger is intense, the amygdala's distress signal can overpower the calming influence of the prefrontal cortex, leading to an outburst or violent reaction. Now, why does anger trigger such a swift and automatic response? The answer lies in our evolutionary past. Early humans needed this quick reaction to threats for survival. If a predator was approaching, there was no time for a leisurely debate on the best course of action. A rapid response was necessary, and anger provided just that. Therefore, anger is not just a fleeting emotion, it's a deeply ingrained survival mechanism, wired into our brains over thousands of years of evolution. It's a protective shield, ready to activate at a moment's notice when we perceive a threat. So, anger is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism, but what about forgiveness? Forgiveness, on the other hand, isn't as straightforward as anger. While anger is a primal, automatic response, forgiveness is a conscious choice that requires more cognitive effort and emotional maturity. It's a higher-order process, if you will, that requires us to override our instinctual drive for self-preservation and retaliation. You see, when we're wronged, our brains tell us to protect ourselves. This could mean lashing out in anger or distancing ourselves from the person who hurt us. However, forgiveness asks us to do something different. It asks us to let go of the hurt, to put aside our instinctual desire for revenge, and to extend empathy and understanding to the person who wronged us. Forgiveness is a choice that demands emotional maturity. It requires us to acknowledge our pain and then choose to let it go. It requires us to empathize with the person who hurt us, to understand their perspective, to accept that they are human and can make mistakes. This isn't easy. It's a process that takes time and effort. It's a journey. Moreover, forgiveness is not an automatic response. It's not a switch that can be flipped on and off at will. It's a decision that has to be made consciously, repeatedly. Every time we remember the hurt, we have to choose to forgive. Every time we're tempted to hold a grudge, we have to choose to let go. It's a continuous process, a constant struggle against our natural tendency to hold on to pain. But why is forgiveness so important? Why should we put in this effort? Why should we choose this challenging path? The answer lies in the power of forgiveness, the power to heal, to grow, to transform ourselves and our relationships, the power to break the cycle of hurt and revenge, to create a cycle of understanding and empathy instead, the power to set ourselves free from the burden of past hurts, to live in the present, to look forward to the future. Forgiveness is a journey, not a reaction. But why should we choose this challenging path? What if I told you that forgiveness is more powerful than anger? Yes, you heard it right. Forgiveness holds an incredible amount of power. It's not just about letting go of grudges or settling scores, it's about healing, both mentally and physically. It's about nurturing our own health and well-being. But how does this happen? Let's delve into the science behind it. Research has shown that forgiveness has a significant impact on our psychological health. It can reduce stress and anxiety, enhance our mood, and improve our overall mental health. When we harbor resentment and anger, we're essentially allowing negative emotions to control us. This can lead to chronic stress, which is a known risk factor for many mental health disorders, including depression and anxiety. But when we choose to forgive, we let go of these negative emotions. We free ourselves from the chains of bitterness, opening the door to peace and happiness. And it's not just about psychological benefits. Forgiveness can also have a profound impact on our physical health. Believe it or not, studies have suggested that forgiveness can boost our immune function. When we're stressed, our body's defense system weakens, making us more susceptible to illnesses. But when we forgive, we lower our stress levels, thereby enhancing our body's ability to fight off diseases. Moreover, forgiveness can lower our blood pressure and heart rate, reducing the risk of heart disease. It can also improve our sleep quality, which is crucial for our overall health and well-being. But remember, forgiveness is not about forgetting or condoning the wrongs done to us. It's about accepting what happened, learning from it, and moving forward. It's about releasing the power that the past holds over us and reclaiming our peace and happiness. So the next time you find yourself struggling with anger or resentment, take a moment to consider the power of forgiveness. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. Choosing forgiveness, therefore, isn't just about making peace with others. It's about nurturing our own health and well-being. So, how can we make the leap from anger to forgiveness? A question that often lingers, especially when we're caught in the throes of resentment. The answer, quite simply, lies in our ability to cultivate empathy, patience, and understanding. Firstly, empathy. It's about stepping into another's shoes, seeing the world from their perspective. It's about recognizing that we are all human, capable of making mistakes. When we empathize, we begin to see that the person who wronged us isn't inherently bad but perhaps misguided or acting out of pain themselves. This shift in perspective can be the first step towards forgiveness. Then comes understanding. This is about acknowledging the circumstances that led to the conflict. It's about accepting that everyone, including ourselves, is shaped by a unique set of experiences and influences. Understanding doesn't mean justifying the wrongdoer's actions, but rather, it's about seeing the bigger picture. It's about realizing that sometimes people act out of character under certain pressures or influences. And finally, patience. Forgiveness is not an overnight process. It's a journey, often a long one, that requires patience with others and, more importantly, with ourselves. We need to give ourselves the time to process our feelings, to heal, and to come to terms with what has happened. Embracing forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to strength. It's about choosing to let go of resentment and bitterness, not for the person who wronged us, but for ourselves. Because at the end of the day, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It's also worth mentioning that forgiveness doesn't equate to forgetting or condoning the wrong done to us. It simply means that we choose to not let that wrong control our lives or define our happiness. Forgiveness is a journey, an ongoing process. It's about making the conscious decision every day to not let our past dictate our future. Remember, forgiveness is a choice, and it's a choice that can transform your life. The paradox of anger and forgiveness is indeed fascinating. As we've explored in our discourse, these two emotions, seemingly at odds, reside within the human psyche. Let's cast our mind back to the key points we've unraveled. Anger, a primitive and instinctual response, can be potent and consuming, yet it is forgiveness, a more complex conscious choice that holds the potential to release us from this grip. Choosing forgiveness over anger doesn't mean dismissing the wrongs done to us. Rather, it is about freeing ourselves from the shackles of resentment and opening the door to inner peace. The power of forgiveness, as we've discovered, extends far beyond the personal realm. It can mend relationships, foster community bonds, and even catalyze societal transformations. So next time you feel the surge of anger, remember, the power to forgive lies within you, and that power can make all the difference. Thank you for watching.